All right, so welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start kind of an accuracy test series with the SC4 Pro device. We're going to be comparing it up against my Foresight GC2 with what we've done accuracy tests with other launch monitors before in the past. I kind of felt after the first look in the demo video that I released the other day that things didn't seem like they were quite matching up. So I kind of wanted to get this in here, basically test it against a known good device, and we're going to end up testing it at different ball flights just to see if we get more accurate data. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to test it at kind of what I think is the minimum that you can kind of utilize or use the device in. So just like in that first look demo video, we've got the red tee set up on the ground. That's basically to mark out 8 feet laser measured to the impact screen. So we're going to be hitting from there to give us 8 feet of ball flight. And then we've got the SC4 Pro device. We've got it set up basically 5 feet behind that location, and it's laser measured up to the impact screen at 13 feet. So like we've done in videos before, in our accuracy test, we're going to hit 3 pitching wedges, 3 7-irons, and 3 drivers. I'll probably comment kind of on what we see with the shot shape and the shot tracer in the softwares when we're kind of hitting the shots, but to try to get through the shots a little bit quicker, we'll kind of save the data review until the end of the video when we kind of put the spreadsheet together. All right, and the first 2 shots I'll try to hit draws with, and then we'll try to hit a fade on the third shot with each club. All right, so here's shot 1 with the pitching wedge. All right, so on this first shot, we see that they both take off in the right direction, so they both go to the right like a push draw, and that's where the Foresight actually shows. However, on the SC4, it just continues with right spin, and so it just continues to look like basically a push fade. So I'd say this one really doesn't like match what we're looking for here. Even though the carry number is pretty close, the overall shot shape of this shot isn't close. All right, so here's shot 2. Looks like we're seeing a closer shot shape here. I think both of them kind of read this at least as a draw. So we had a push draw on the Foresight. Looks like we got like a little bit of a slight pull draw on the SC4, but I think where the ball is end up here, I think that's relatively much closer than that first shot. All right, so here's the third shot with the pitching wedge. We will try to hit a little bit of a fade. And I think Foresight's just kind of showing me that I basically hit a straight pull to the left. SC4 picked that up with a lot of draw spin to it. There was a little bit of draw spin showing on the Foresight, so at least they both read it as starting left and then continuing left. Just a lot more draw spin picked up by the SC4 device. We're going to start with the 7-iron here, and we're going to hit 3 shots with it real quick. It's a little thin. All right, so we're seeing basically kind of continuing the push draw on the Foresight side with this first 7-iron. Contact was a little bit thin, so we didn't really get that one very well. So the carry distance is down, but it does look to be pretty close between the two devices. And honestly, the SC4 kind of starts off basically almost just straight, which isn't that much of a difference from the Foresight. And then it does indicate that it has very little left spin, but at least it did pick it up going left. All right, so here's shot 2. Yeah, off the toe, big left. All right, so both show that it started off to the right. So we do have the push draw on the Foresight. However, caught that on the toe. So I expected it to go left quite a bit, and the Foresight did show that. However, we got very little left spin, side spin on the SC4 device. So I wouldn't say that it really, I mean, in direction, it did kind of read it correctly, but it just did not catch the spin very well. All right, so here's our third and final shot with the 7-iron. Again, we'll try to hit a fade. So it looks like we accomplished what we were trying to do on the Foresight side. So we did start left and fade it back to the center line. It does show it accurately on the SC4 that we did start the ball left. I mean, they actually show the same basically launch direction at 3.3 degrees to the left. However, we don't have any kind of spin axis on the SC4, and the side spin read is like basically 5 RPMs to the left, which is basically just kind of a straight ball flight at this point. So I'd say the SC4 also kind of missed this shot shape as well. All right, so those are our three 7-irons. We're going to step up and hit driver now, increase the ball speed some more. All right, so we'll try to start off with a couple draws first. Wasn't very good contact on that one. Kind of caught it out on the toe and low on the face. Both of them show starting right, almost kind of the same side angle, which is a positive. However, we do see a little bit of draw spin on the Foresight and a little bit of fade spin, right spin on the SC4 here. Another thing to point out, I mean, that was, like I said, poor contact. So the total spin on the Foresight isn't going to keep that ball in the air very long. It's really low spin. So that's when we're going to see a huge discrepancy difference here. In the carry distance number of almost 65 yards. Hopefully I can hit a better one on the second one here. So yeah, we basically got another kind of like low draw on the Foresight here. So it starts barely left and then it continues to draw left, whereas the SC4 kind of started it to the right, and then it really basically just had a straight ball flight after that. Some really poor driver shots today. All right, so third one here, we'll try to hit kind of a cut. Hit a pull, just no cut to it. No, and the SE4 actually didn't even pick that one up. All right, and we can kind of see this from time to time, especially with devices that sit behind the ball. So if you kind of launch the ball really low, which I feel like these have been, what tends to happen, especially if you're pulling it to the left, basically the ball is going left from the tee at a really low angle, and your club head is almost kind of following, kind of almost blocking the device. So I don't think the radar can kind of tell the difference between after impact of the club head of the driver and the ball. And by the time it actually sees the ball, it can't read it. We've kind of seen this happen also with the MLM2 Pro as well. You know, the cameras on the MLM2 Pro try to pick up the dots in the spin. And usually, if you have that issue, you can see in the camera where the head just kind of follows along the ball path enough that it really can't see the ball until it's too late. All right, since it didn't pick that one up, we'll try to hit one more. Hopefully, I can hit a better one because these have been terrible so far today. It's another crappy one. All right, so we've got 3 shots of comparable data, even though those are probably 3 crappy drives. We at least have data to compare with the club, so we are going to end the demo there. We are going to jump out and take a look at the spreadsheet and then kind of see how accurate this device is. I don't have high hopes in it at this distance just because this is like really low ball flight as far as being only at 8 feet. All right, so since the demo's over and we've kind of compiled all of the data, we're going to pop in real quick, take a look at the spreadsheet. We'll try to go through this as fast as possible. So if you feel like you want to look at something a little bit longer, feel free to kind of pause the screen on any of these images that we're about to show. All right, so basically what we're going to do in these spreadsheets is we're going to rate kind of all the metrics, and then we kind of come up with a shot score average for each shot, and then we average them together, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. So real quick with the pitching wedge, it's kind of color coded like a stoplight. So, you know, green is good, it gets you 5 points. Yellow is average, gets you 3 points, and red basically is bad and gets you 0 points. And then we add that up across the metrics and then divide by 4, and that's how we get the scores over on the right hand side. And then we average those together. So just real quick, we can see with the pitching wedge, you know, carry number was actually pretty decent. We had 2 greens, a yellow. Ball speed, all 3 were green, which is not really a surprise, honestly, with the SC4 because it is a radar-based unit, and radar usually typically does well on ball speed. But then as we get over to spin, 2 yellows, a red, that's really not a good result. And then obviously shot shape kind of looks like a stoplight, and I would say that was probably about an average result for lower ball speed club like the pitching wedge. All right, so all those metrics pretty much add up to basically a 3.5 shot accuracy average score for the pitching wedge. So let's move on real quick to the 7-iron. We're kind of seeing the same thing here. We've got 2 greens and a red on carry this time. So carry wasn't terrible. Ball speed, all three green, great again. Spin was actually a little bit better on the 7-iron shots, which is kind of surprising because the ball speed is going up a little bit. But then on shot shape, we actually kind of got worse from what we were on the pitching wedge. So we got 2 yellows and a red there. So I'd say I'd give that a below average kind of result. So all of that there kind of leads us to a 3.42 average accuracy score for the 7-iron. And then if we move over to the driver, a lot of red here, hit some terrible shots. But honestly, in tests like this, I will say when we're trying to test shot shape and ball spin, I think sometimes it can be good to hit some of these really hooky or fadey shots because you're putting a lot of side spin on the ball, and we're trying to see if the SC4 can kind of keep up and measure those correctly. And obviously, in this test with all this red, it failed pretty miserably today at 8 feet of ball flight. So that's why we ended up only 2 metrics of green, and those were on ball speed, which radar should do pretty well at. So we ended up with a sub 1 average score on the driver today of 0.83. And so if we look at all the average scores for each one of those clubs and then we average that together, the total average accuracy score we came up with today for the 8-foot ball flight demo is 2.58 out of 5. And then if we're comparing that to what we've seen in some of our Rapsodo MLM2 Pro test, we have the native app up top, then E6, then Awesome Golf and GS Pro. So just because those are all different softwares, different algorithms, you can kind of quickly see there the average accuracy scores that we got in those tests. And that device pretty much finished at above a 4 on average in all of those. So we got some work to do here in the Voice Caddie SC4 Pro. And so what I'm hoping is that as we move the ball back and get more ball flight here in the sim, as we go to 9 feet and 10 feet, hopefully we can improve this overall average accuracy score, and maybe we can see some kind of at least approaching 4 or maybe in the low 4s, kind of like what we did with the MLM2 Pro. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video today. I hope you got something useful out of it, or at least you liked the content. If you did, make sure to give the video a like. Like I said, we are going to be doing at least 2 more videos this week. We're going to do a 9-foot ball flight test and a 10-foot ball flight test. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get notified when we do actually launch those videos. If you already are subscribed to the channel, I appreciate your support. Again, let me know in the comments down below if there's anything specific you would like to see with this launch monitor, or if you have any specific questions, I'll try to get them as I can. All right, guys, I want to thank you again for watching the video today. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.